So, is that me?
Don't know.
All right, speak again.
Yo, what's up?
Seems muffled.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see my settings here. Microphone. That's you. That's correct.
I'm gonna take these headphones off and try to listen to the video on my laptop just to see if it's my headphones or if it's you.
Uh,
All right, say something.
Yo, what's up? How's it sounding?
Yeah, you're muffled. Like,
All right, let me try. All right, what does that do?
okay, speak again.
Yo, what's up? How's it going, good sir? No different?
Much better.
Much better?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like when the volume got to a certain level, it like got fuzzy just a little bit.
I turned down the mic volume on Windows, so am I still at a good volume?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep. Yeah. You're peaking right where I am.
Excellent. Okay, cool. I don't know why, I don't know why that happens, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could guess, but I'd honestly be making shit up.
Isn't that what IT professionals do, though?
I put the flux capacitor in the back of the microphone, and it created an entirely new wavelength that we've never seen before.
I increased the doobledorps and connected the WYSIGIG to the operating board, and it increased my kilowatts, hertz, DSL line, Magic Pony unicorn power.
I like unicorns. Can I have a unicorn? Can I have a unicorn in my computer? Maybe that'll solve all my problems.
It's the sparkle dust, dude. It's all about the sparkle dust.
All right. We all need a little bit of sparkle in our life.
All right. I'm going to double check real quick. My clock says 8:01.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
Just want to make sure that my computer didn't lurch forward in time again. Because I wouldn't put it past my computer.
It just does crazy things.
Yes. Very crazy things. All right. Let's hit the record button. Boop.
What are we recording?
The Thursday Night Hangout, my friend.
Cool.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 topics. So this should be fun. Should be fun, ladies and gentlemen. Should be fun. Should be lots and lots. Wait, hold on, let me see.
What could possibly not go wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, here we go. Muting Zelius, then muting myself, and then we are going. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
So, according to Charlie, at the beginning, we were going somewhere, but I'm not sure because I feel like I'm in the exact same place of where we started.
Our minds, our ones and zeros, are transisting through. Oh, God damn it! Now, Zelius and I were talking IT speak. You know how we just make up words, and my brain tried to go there again. So
you just passed the Turing test of whether or not you're actually a robot. Or not. Congratulations.
yes, haha. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is I am your host Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific Connor himself, Zelius.
It was good to see you on the post-holiday depression, happiness, exuberation, sadness.
New Year.
Yay, Happy New Year.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it was a great New Year for me. I don't know about you guys.
I'm pretty sure you suffered about 7 or 9 heart attacks.
This is very true. Like, actually, my hop it definitely just stopped working at one point because I thought it was all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are curious as to why Zelius might have 7 or 9 heart attacks, Zelius is a diehard UGA
Go Dogs
fan, and for those out there who were watching college football playoffs, you would know that the Dogs, the Georgia Bulldogs, pulled one out of their rear end at the end of the game. So,
it was a victory straight out of the ass. There's no nice way of putting it. Yes, I still don't actually know how they won the game, but the score says that they won, so I will take it.
Yeah, W is a W.
Indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is the Thursday Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. If you haven't submitted your topic, question, or opinions, or thoughts, or comments, have no fear. All you got to do is drop it in the chat, and we will add it to the show. Now, of course, if it's a topic or a question, we will try to add it to the list of the show. And if we unfortunately run out of time, that topic will be added to the beginning of the next show. Some housekeeping business real quick. This is kind of a cool statistic here. I went back through let's see here. The shows. So 2022 we had 41 shows. In 2021 we had 40 shows. And 2020 we had 39.
So in 10 years we'll have 53 shows.
Oh geez. But unfortunately, I think we're going to take some vacation. Or fortunately or unfortunately, we're going to take some vacation. I could tell you right now that, of course, this is the first show of the new year, 2023. And the next show will not be next week, but the following week, because of a convention that if you are near the Chattanooga area, you should be attending. And that, of course, is Chattacon.
Chattacon!
I'll be getting up there. The Chattacon runs Friday to Sunday. I personally will be getting up there Thursday, just so I'm got all my stuff up there, and I'm ready to go. I did get a last minute replacement for Zelius. It's actually one of my cousins is willing to step in and help me with the equipment. If you remember, I had previously stated that we're not going to have a table this year. And I'm still kind of messing around with it, but we may or may not have a table at conventions going forward, because that will allow me a little bit more mobility to do interviews and whatnot. But that's kind of still up in the air. I am hosting one panel, which of course is video games changing for the good? ? I believe the official schedule isn't out, but I believe it's going to be one of the Sundays. It's going to be one of the Sunday panels. But I will also be moderating. They've asked me to moderate one other panel that's based around video games, so should be well within my wheelhouse.
And I saw that Corey of Vitamin Key Podcast is also a panelist.
Well, Spooky Dudes.
Is that what it is?
Spooky Dudes? He's doing Spooky Dudes. There.
Cool.
Yep.
Look at that. It's funny. It says host creator of Vitamin Key Podcast, and then of Spooky Dudes.
Yep.
So it's like.
Yeah, I believe it's the Spooky Dudes part or portion of.
That's cool.
Yep. But anyways, so Chattacon 2023 starts next Friday, which is I'll see here. Let me cheat real quick here. Starts the 13th and goes through the 15th. So if you're if you're going to Chattacon, come find me. I will be probably wearing this hat at multiple points in the thing, and also I will be lugging a bunch of recording equipment around, so it probably won't be very hard to find me. Oh, and apparently I might have a time slot to do autographs.
Nope, you can't do autographs.
Why not, Zelius?
Because you have to do brain doodles.
Oh, no. I will be doing brain doodles, and I will be autographing said brain doodles.
Nice.
I'll be doing Chattacon exclusive brain doodles, and those will be what I assign.
Better hold on to those. They could be worth big moonies someday.
I thought about bringing like my whole collection. I might still do that, but I might also do some Chattacon original brain doodles. So
nice.
Be on the lookout for that. All right. Anyways, now with that out of the way, let's get into some of the other topics. The first one is, and this makes me kind of giggle, and I think that at this point, anyone who has followed Ultra Confusion or seen one of my panels understands my opinion of a certain sports franchise called Madden. Now, I think
does Madden make you mad?
No, them releasing a quote unquote brand new game every single year makes me mad for the consumers, because I feel it's a total ripoff. But I guess I don't want to say it's karma because it's still screwing over the consumers. But apparently, if you have a let's see here. I just want to make sure I get this right. If you were logged into your franchise league between 2:45 p.m. Eastern Time on December 28th and 12:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 29th, so basically looks like 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If you were logged in within those 10 hours, your franchise league save has now been corrupted, or 60% of those saves are now corrupted and cannot be recovered.
Yeah, I love the cloud. It's all so safe and secure, and happily living in a world of redundant backups and, well, having backups, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Backups of your backups, man.
Yeah. I mean, having a single source of your data is backup, right? Because I backed it up to my hard drive.
Obviously.
Yeah. But I mean, in all seriousness, that really sucks. Is putting it nicely. I mean, that's a major snafu. I mean, I don't know how to put it light other than they just totally screwed up. I mean, to have your entire career lost, and that way, due to a data corruption on their part, yikes.
But here's the real kick in the nuts, and that is that if for those out there who have never played Madden, or maybe have played Madden, but maybe never tried the franchise mode out. Franchise mode means that you take over a team, and it potentially could be several seasons. Okay, and in those several seasons, you will be making roster changes, your win-loss records, all that stuff, all that information. And for 60% of the user base's save games to just go, I mean, damn. Because when I was playing, sports games, I definitely, when I was playing sports games, I usually try to do like build a character and then throw them on a team and then play that team over multiple seasons, having my usually quarterback is the usual position that I would select. Because quarterback gets to do the most stuff.
I mean, it would be like if you're playing like a MOBA or FPS, and all of a sudden, like the data corrupts, and half of the user base basically loses all the rankings, and all that stuff that happened.
How about this though? I mean, how screwed up would it be if the corruption of the save were to reverse unlockables?
Oof.
Like I don't know. Like I haven't played Madden in a while, but there were like things like stats that or achievements that you had to get to unlock stuff. So I wonder. Well, that might be a separate save file. God, I hope it's a separate save file.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
You know,
it's all like does the um
does it re-authenticate? Does it
yeah,
recheck?
does like the award look at every time you log in? Does it see if you had like 10 victories every season,
Yeah.
every time you log in, or once you get that 10 wins every season,
Then it's on.
that's like a separate database where it
Yeah.
knows you got that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the big question: is how do they basically make that happen? That's something we're not going to know.
No.
Well, but users who have encountered this probably do know whether
Yeah.
or not they still have all of their achievements or not.
I mean, that God, what is? Well, I would assume that it's probably a localized save file because it's probably just a small um like spreadsheet that just holds all that
Yeah.
information and that the other save is just to for just that mode. Gotta hope so because
But
otherwise that would suck.
I mean, talk about killing any desire to ever play that game again.
Especially if um especially if you've put several seasons in, to
Mhm.
not be able to recover that.
Well, I mean, you only encountered the bug if you logged in during that like
Yeah, 10-hour
24-hour
window.
period.
Yeah,
So you know that the people who encountered it are people who played the game.
and probably play it religiously.
Yeah, I mean, if they're playing at that time of the day, and during that time, that they're Madden gamers.
Yeah.
So those are the people you don't want to piss off. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity,
Hey.
28th. That's a Wednesday. Okay, so Wednesday, Thursday.
I mean, a lot of people were also off during that time and had holidays and stuff. So
Right.
very conceivably.
Well, I was just trying to be honest with you, I don't think there was much going on the 28th. So I think that the user base is probably bigger during
That's
that
what I
time
mean.
frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like like that gap between like Christmas and New Year's is like a perfect just dive into your gaming period.
Yeah.
Um,
Just out of curiosity, I'm going to look this up on ESPN. I'm going to see if there was anything on the 28th.
for like football.
Yeah. Let's see here. 16, 17, 29th, 28th. Oh God, the 28th was that 3 overtime bowl game.
Eh.
And then there was also the Oregon North Carolina game, which was decided by 1 point. So there were some exciting games, but unless I guess unless you were one of the fans of those teams, you probably weren't watching.
Of course, the other part that sucks is from a consumer perspective, there's basically little repercussion for EA's actions in this case, or inaction, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And as a consumer, you're shafted.
Yep.
In this situation, yeah. I mean, there's no good that comes of it if you're a gamer who encountered that situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully, but I mean, the at the end of the day, I don't think even if this pisses off a lot of gamers and makes them cry on the inside, it's not going to stop them from if they are yearly Madden purchasers. I don't think it's going to stop them from purchasing the next Madden. So because they want to keep playing their football.
Well, I guess the question is, okay, so if you have Madden 2022 and you get
Yep.
Madden 23, does like your stuff carry over from Madden 22 to 23? Like if you had like your career mode, does that carry over from game to game?
In the past, when I was playing it, and that was like the early 2000s, it did not. It was two separate things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's changed. I would assume that it has not, but I don't know for sure.
Come on, man. Man up and play Madden.
No, thank you.
Fair enough.
I rather waste my money on an unknown title that sounds exciting than play a game that I know is just regurgitated crap. Anyways.
I mean, yeah, I have nothing appropriate to say to that.
So, okay. The next story that I want to talk about, it's actually really interesting. As we know, we are now in the age of AI generated stuff. For better or for worse, we now have AI software that's out there that is, I guess, helping or hurting individuals big time. Now, this is actually a very interesting thing. Apparently, unfortunately, Zelius and I have been out of college for a bit, but apparently there is some AI programs that will help you write term papers.
Oh, yeah.
A college student, I'm trying to remember, let's see if I could find out which, oh crap, I just closed the damn page.
You need some AI to help you find it, man.
Hold on, I think I could pull it up real quick. Let's see here. I had the damn thing open too. That's gonna piss me off. There it is. Let's see if they named where the guy goes to college. Oh, of course. It's a computer science student at Princeton.
Nice.
Has created a program that can quickly and efficiently detect whether an essay is created with AI or if it was actually written by a human.
So it's like, who watches the watcher?
Yeah, exactly.
So then you have to create a smart enough AI to not be recognized by his AI, and then you're going to create an AI to detect that AI to detect the other AI. It's like a never-ending loop of to find the cheater.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, okay. The older student in me goes, "Fuck yeah, that's right. Don't take the easy way out." But at the same time, to be totally honest with you, I did take some easy ways out when I was in school, so I can't, kettle black.
I mean, also rightly or wrongly, though, like when I taught, I knew in my mind that the students could cheat.
Yeah.
Like it was clear. So I would try to design projects in-class work in such a ways where cheating wouldn't really help them. Like they could try, but they're so specific to that that it wouldn't really be of any use. And like I'd ask very specific things, like particularly in class exams, where like they couldn't really Google the answer. Now, this AI that you're referring to, the Chat GP or whatever it is, I'm having my like an acronym.
Chat GPT.
Yeah, there we go. Chat GPT is supposed to be smart enough to actually get around basically what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
Like force them to know the information.
Right.
So, you know, that it's the, I mean, it was a constant thing when I was doing that was how to deal with the fact that students do cheat. And I think when I say the word cheat, it's also, I look at it though as also a little bit of realization that like, hey, you know, it's always like, oh man, you got preparing for the real world and what's going to be like when they're out there. Well, guess what? It's not like when you're in the real world working your job, your boss isn't like, you can't use Google to do this problem. No, like they want to use every resource available. So there's also a little bit of like, yeah, you want your, you know, we're employees, we use the resource available to us. So at the same time, I also want the students to figure out how to use those resources to problem solve and do it. So I guess that's where I try to kind of formulate the questions is, okay, I know they're going to go research it, but how do I still verify that they're not just copying and pasting off of a website, basically?
Right.
But they actually understand what was going on to Google those questions. That's fine, but they had to kind of understand what they're doing in the first place. And it's not always easy, to be fair, but that is the reality of being an education in today's world. And I think it's something we just have to be like, it's also not hiding your, you know, head under the sand and you have to like it doesn't exist. It does exist and you have to acclimate to that.
Right. No, I mean like I was, you know, I wrote a ton of papers when I was in school, and to be honest with you, when you get into the real world, you're not going to have an employee. I hope you do not have an employee who goes, by the way, I need a 20-page dissertation on the evolution of the modem. No one's going to ask you that unless they're
I've
psychotic.
already heard you. I want to make sure you understand the technology from 20 years ago of how we got to where we are today, sir.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, but I mean, it's. I mean, like once again, as AI evolves, you're going to get more sophisticated stuff, and I just think it hell, if this thing can evolve, and it's just cool to me. I mean, so good for this guy, Edward Tane from Princeton. I'm probably pronouncing his last name wrong, and I apologize.
I'm curious on how he's deciding, or what basically algorithm is going on behind the scenes to help try to figure out if the student was cheating or not. Is really kind of fascinating to me. Is what I'd be curious to kind of see.
How about if he just like literally it's just a compare and contrast from utilizing an AI program a couple times on the same topic and then seeing similarities.
That's honestly what I assume it is.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of, because that's because we use plagiarism software, and that's exactly what it does.
Yep.
Is it goes and finds 20 papers about the history of Anne Frank, and then compares that to what a student hands in on their biography. And that would be my guess. He has some kind of heuristic algorithm to determine, based off of what he input, the answers it gave.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have the same answers again for the same question? Would be my guess. Which tricky, we did mess a little bit with the AI, and you can also get granular and be like, okay, write me a history paper of MLK. Okay, now write me a history paper of MLK from a 6th grader level.
Right.
Okay, now write it for me from a 12th grade level. So it can get pretty precise, and even narrowing it down in that regard.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's pretty neat stuff. I mean, it's the future.
So, speaking of AI, now of course you have the term papers, but you also have this ever evolving issue, controversy, problem. There are programs out there, such as Stable Diffusion, and let me make sure I get the other one. I knew I had Stable Diffusion and really Stable Diffusion and Unstable Diffusion. Jesus Christ. Wow, really original there, guys. Which basically you put in a famous actor or some sort of subject, and what this AI program will do is it basically scrapes the internet for every reference of a specific topic, and it does like a compilation of it, and then it basically does an art AI algorithm and creates their version of that art. Now, the AI does not discern a difference between copyrighted and not copyrighted stuff, and there are a lot of artists out there who, I mean, their entire livelihood is making this art, and a lot of this AI created stuff, one is sampling their stuff, and also two, as we mentioned in a previous episode, if you are an artist who is actually trying to make your work as accessible as possible, you use a lot of alternative text and tags, so an individual who has some sort of impairment can easily find and understand the art. So you've got this weird thing where this technology is evolving faster than law can keep up. And there was a Kickstarter project that basically made um, NSFW, or not safe for work, art. And basically, what it did is it utilized an AI program, and it's a Kickstarter, so it's getting funded. So people were paying for this thing, and Kickstarter was starting to get a shit ton of backlash on this project, and so they suspended the project or the campaign, and they came out and basically said, "Look, this is some really tricky and it's really tricky, and this is one of the undefined areas." They went further on to say Kickstarter must and will always be on the side of creative work and the humans behind that work. We're here to help creative work thrive. So they're going to have to find in the future. They're going to have to figure out a way to validate if the project is going to steal work to create its own unique stuff, because if you allow for individuals to create artwork of, I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons-esque stuff, and it's just the AI algorithm basically pumping out let's say 150 images, and then they're making bank off of stealing other people's work. I mean, it's not. I mean, I almost want to put it on the level as that terrible vendor / artist from MomoCon who literally was stealing artists' work, and basically would take the work and put it into their art program, Photoshop, Paint Shop, whatever, and just add a couple filters to create their own unique version and not change anything else. They'd sell it for like $50. I kind of put it on that level, which
it's tricky though, because it's also a little bit of where do you start drawing that line?
Right.
So take, for instance, Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yep.
Like the original artwork from like Larry Elmore and all those guys, there's a lot of artwork, original artwork derived from that style of work.
Yep.
Right? The kind of that same, the dragon and the warrior and all that stuff.
Yep.
It's obviously unique. Like, let's just hypothetically say, we all know I'm not an artist, but hypothetically, Zeus an artist. Dude, this Larry Elmore stuff is awesome. So I start creating my own dragons. I don't think anybody has an issue with that.
No.
But it's where do you start? Where's that kind of gray area? Because somewhere in between there's going to be, stable diffusion, which just straight up rips that off. But what happens if stable diffusion just draws me a wing to get started? And then I draw the rest. Or maybe I do my first, run, because like if you ever watch an actual artist, like there's multiple layers that they're doing. So what if stable diffusion just does the first pencil shading layer only, and then I do the rest? So I think that's what you're also going to see is, I think it's pretty cut and dry. Okay, straight up stable diffusion, stealing and just copying and pasting.
Yeah.
That's not cool for monetary gain purposes. But there's 100%. I mean, in a way, your stuff like Krita and Photoshop already help out with that as it is. Like they already have a lot of intelligence built into them to help the artist make their work more efficient to get their artwork out there. So at some point, there's going to be that uncomfortable gray area of where does it go from, Zelix's original artwork to I've now copied Larry Elmore's work. And think about it, that's something that like video game developers have been battling for years. At one point, am I stealing assets from another company or ideas? That's where you had the whole issue of Sun Microsystems and the lawsuit they've been in for years, decades of can you basically patent software ideas?
Right.
And this is kind of no different with drawing. Like, can I patent dragons? Basically, would kind of be the analogy here. So, I mean, I totally get it. Like, if it's just a straight up stealing, stable diffusion, not cool. We want the human element. But at some point, there's going to be the AI assisted where it's referencing other artwork out there. At what point do you cross that threshold of I'm now stealing it to it's my original work? Because there's going to be a whole spectrum in between of straight up original work to stable diffusing it.
Right.
That's just get it. But and think about it, when you also like when we start, you go to conventions. There's also going to be that discussion that's going to start coming up of, artist alley. Does that have to be original artwork? I think the obvious answer is like, well, of course it has to be original artwork. But then you're going to start discussing like, well, they got a little bit of assist on the AI to help them get started. Is that still original? And you start.
I mean, you could go down the rabbit hole of creating, original artwork of copyright IP.
Yeah. Which we see a lot of at conventions. Yeah. I mean, think about how much of the artwork is derivatives of copyrighted IP. Yeah. So it's going to be
tricky.
I think the hard, kind of as you mentioned earlier about the laws catching up, is a lot of times these type of situations, we're applying laws from like the 1800s, basically.
Right.
Like original copyright laws that there's just no conception of this type of situation. So it gets to be a little riled up. It's like, well, copyright infringement and stuff. I'm like, well, okay, but like there was no one, like we need like basically a new set of, but unfortunately our politicians are all too damn old to understand what the hell AI is, but that doesn't help.
They still can't figure out video games, so.
This is true. And so that's what makes it tough. Like it all moves so freaking rapidly that we're basing laws that are hundreds, 200 years old, or even like, think of the most modern like laws, like you probably like the DMCA Act from like the early 2000s, and how rapidly since then everything has changed.
Yep.
So even like the more recent laws that have tried to keep up with the times are now so far behind what's happened over the last, and this is only going to expedite that process of the brave new frontier of, what is copyright infringement basically.
Right.
Yeah. Even like, I mean, you think of that like I was playing a video game, Northrend, where it's a mix up between RTSs and city builders.
Mm-hmm.
And you go back to the idea of what is stealing another game's, what is basically stealing another game. Mm-hmm. You get games that are so close in mashup to other games.
Right. I mean, you got, I know that, I mean, a couple of years ago, you had all the clones of like popular apps appearing.
Yeah.
That would change a word around or misspell it or whatever. Or, my new favorite example is instead of Hello Kitty, Greetings Feline, which is just great. I mean, like Angry Birds, and then you get like disgruntled pigeons or something. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's really, it's a brave new frontier, and it's going to be honest, to be deadly honest with you, it's going to take a major corporation filing a lawsuit, which will then go to court. What's up, Nakamoto? Which will, go to court saying that this AI algorithm is utilizing, is basically scraping our site for our copyrighted material, and then, as many major corporations do, they will basically drain whoever created the art dry of money. They'll win it, and they will then utilize that lawsuit as precedent for all the other lawsuits. And then you will see a bunch of maybe smaller artists jumping into the fray, because now there is an example case of even though it's a big corporation, and they have shit tons of money to basically what's the tactic?
Precedent.
Yeah, but
It set a precedent. Yeah.
they right. But what big corporations do to smaller businesses or individuals is
Oh, yeah.
they file for an extension to get more facts to basically strengthen their case. What they're really doing is the longer the trial goes, the more that the smaller individual has to pay for representation and stuff until they can't pay no more.
Yep.
So it's good. It's going to take a major corporation to really at least start the foundation of how to deal with AI generated content.
My vote is Disney.
That would not surprise me. Either Disney or Nintendo. Those are the two that come to my mind immediately. If someone, but the thing is, Disney's probably more likely because Disney has got their hands in so many additional cookie jars. Where, I mean, they've got movies, they've got video games, they've got books, they've got TV shows. They have a much larger footprint and different versions of content that that an AI program be able to pull from. Fun fact, though, you want to know one of the sneaky reasons why every I don't know, like 5, 6, 7 years you have a new Mickey Mouse TV show? It's so they can continue to copyright that IP because Mickey Mouse is evolving. Therefore, it's not the same Mickey Mouse. It's a newer version of the Mickey Mouse. Which is why, technically, Winnie the Pooh is in public domain as long as Winnie the Pooh doesn't wear a red shirt. Because the red shirt Winnie the Pooh is copyrighted by Disney.
I think the original Mickey Mouse actually goes in the public domain in 2024.
No, it already passed. It was oh, gosh darn it! It was.
Was it this year?
No, well, it was 2022. I think it was like July or August.
And you mean the world did not come to an end for Disney?
It was Steamboat Willie.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Which was the first iteration of Mickey Mouse. However,
they still make money even though that happened. Is what you're saying? That's amazing.
Well, because first of all, I don't think that technically his name was Mickey Mouse, though everyone says it is Mickey Mouse. So technically, if you were to draw Steamboat Willie, I think you're okay, as long as you don't name him Mickey. But anyways, yeah, copyright IP law, just crazy awesome.
Hey, it'll keep the lawyers employed.
That's true. Yeah. Anyways, okay. Let's do one more topic, then we'll do friends of the show. Sound good? Zelius, I'm going to let you take this next one because you did post about it. One of Zelius and my favorite authors. He's a very, very good. He also ran a very successful Kickstarter, actually the most successful Kickstarter to ever hit the platform. A gentleman by the name of Brandon Sanderson.
So Brandon Sanderson with his Kickstarter. So basically came out of his Kickstarter is he was trying to find publishers for his audiobook of, I'm having a brain fart in what the actual Kickstarter series is called.
Well, it's called a secret project, but let's see if.
I think it actually has a title maybe, but he had used Audible in the past. And he decided not to go with Audible for this. And his reason is because Audible so normally when you deal with like a electronic platform and publisher or developer split, you're talking 70-30, meaning your developer gets 70%. I'm using developer and publisher interchangeably here. Yep. Your developer gets 70%, and your platform, like be it Steam or Apple, gets 30%. plus or minus a few percent, but it's somewhere in that range. Usually is what you're, maybe 2080, but it's usually somewhere in that range is what you're looking at. And I did not know this, but with Audible, so that is the audiobook that Amazon owns, of course, along with all the Kindles. And of course, that's what you always see in the Amazon store when you buy books, is they charge 60%, meaning Audible, Amazon keeps 60% of all of the profits. Now, that is only, this is a very big caveat, that is only if you're an exclusive artist of Audible. And if you are a non-exclusive, meaning you're, say, on Libby, which is for libraries, now your cut goes down to 25%, and Amazon gets 75%, which to me is absolutely insane. I had no idea it was such a crazy split. So Brandon Sanderson was like, "Well, this is crazy." Has decided to eschew Audible for this project, and he's going with Spotify is one of them, which is kind of ironic because they shaft artists, but whatever. Musical artist. Now he makes very clear that he's in a position that he is financially able to do this, based off Kickstarter and his other phenomenally popular series. Like, he's not like, indie artists, you guys should do this too, because this is a morally bankrupt, or he's not like on a high horse or anything. It was a very well articulated, go figure, letter, basically be like, hey, I'm in a position where I can kind of stand up and willingly take a hit to my bottom line by not using Audible and hoping that we can make some changes in the marketplace. Because really, Audible is the player in the game. Because if you don't go with Audible, you're losing sales. There's just no other two ways about it. So that's kind of crazy to me that it's a 40 or 25% take is all you get. And you think, I mean, people like to crap on Apple, rightly or wrongly, for getting 70%, or Steam getting 70%, or sorry, 30%. They get 30%. Whereas Amazon gets a lot of that. So, yeah.
I'm trying to quickly look up Spotify to see if I could find it, but it would appear that there's a lot of different requirements for Spotify for you to get the percentage. But Zealies is right. Back in the day, where brick and mortar stores ruled the world, basically, what the price breakdown for most games is going to be, let's say, our favorite store, GameStop. I say that sarcastically, but anyways, GameStop would take 20% of the sale profit, which would then give 80% to the publisher. And depending on the publisher's contract with the developer, the publisher would either take anywhere from 60 to 80% of the whatever's left of that 80%, which then the developer would get 40% or 20 to 40% of the 80% of the profit. So it gets really, really small. And of course, this is one of the reasons why digital is a much better marketplace for developers, because now you're taking the ability of the brick and mortar store from taking some of that profit. Now you're only dealing with basically the profit share of your platform, be it Steam or GOG or Epic or the Xbox Live Arcade or the PSN, PlayStation Network, or the Switch store, or it's not called the Switch store, is it?
eShop, isn't it?
eShop, yeah, eShop. And the other thing is, this is really where GameStop made all of its money, is that there's no such thing as used game sales, which that was the dirty secret.
It was a great secret.
It was a great secret, and I wish that I had come up with that blasted plan, because I would be rich as fuck right now. And basically, ladies and gentlemen, developers and publishers only see a profit off of the original sale of the game. And GameStop was literally pocketing 40 to 50 to 60 bucks off of their used game sales. And so they were making bank. And when GameStop was was the top dog. This unfortunately, we're now at a point where publishers and more developers and publishers may just disappear um, or get eaten alive by another company because most projects cost so much. But back when GameStop was the king, you would see some like really good games out there that one would not get a sequel, or two, the developers would go out of business simply because even though this game was being played by tons of people, 90% of them were playing the used copy version of the game, and so the developer had to close its door because it was only making 10% of the amount of games being played.
We're doing a book, and Sinners even pointed out that the split that the author gets now is less than when it was brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Via the Audible deal. So it's like, because it should be more because you don't have the storefront cost and like all the extra infrastructure costs in the brick and mortar you no longer have. And yet somehow the split has got worse in the process for books.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, I mean, if you look at since Bezos stepped away from Amazon, leading Amazon's basically been bleeding money. And so they've cut like a ton of employees and they're going to try to make as much money as possible. So I'm not really surprised that Amazon is taking huge chunks from the content creators. But the thing that scares me about the sheer percentage of money that they're taking from each Audible sale is the fact of there are what do you call them? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Basically, ensemble casts, and each of those individuals who are lending their voice get a cut of the profit of that ebook is, right? Or the Audible. So you get these big names to voice it, and then you basically have to split the 30% or 30 or 40% of that sale amongst like 8 people. And that gets, then you're getting like itty bitty amounts of money. And sure, it's probably a very popular book. I hope it's a very popular book so they could actually make something. But still,
that's a lot of ways to split a small percentage.
Right. And I'm sure that I know that I think that the voice actors have now unionized, I think, because of, really piss poor pay right. I wonder if voice acting and lending your voice to an audiobook is the same thing. Like what I'm talking about with voice acting, I know Zelius does, but just for the audience, when I'm talking about voice acting, I'm talking about lending your voice to like a cartoon or a movie or a video game, or an animation project or a video game or something like that. That'd be very interesting. I'd have to actually look up that a little bit further.
I'm curious now too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to pause real quick to thank the individuals who helped Alter Confusion by being amazing fans who support us in many different ways, either through Patreon and other means. So let's start off with our first one, and that, of course, is the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships with local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com.
Indie Cluster.
Now, the next shout out we got to give out is an individual who's always crazy busy when he attends conventions because he's that talented. Ladies and gentlemen, Noodle Boy Media, founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously Whack Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia today.
Noodle Boy.
The next shout out we got to give is to an individual who, if you're in the greater Atlanta area, you definitely have to check out, especially if you're a gamer, because he can help you with some of those aches and pains of long gaming sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore, the company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com.
Chiropract yourself today.
Now, the next shout out we got to give is to the maestro himself, ladies and gentlemen, Crosspad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion. Crosspad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you.
Crosspath Media for you.
And the last shout out we got to give is, of course, to our longest running patron, and that is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both a development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist, Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com.
Agile Axiom.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to point this one out. Although I have not yet signed up for it, ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion will, of course, be participating in Extra Life for the 12th year straight. Unfortunately, we do not have a team page put up yet, but I do want to alert you that Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. Now, we don't currently have a page, but I hope to remedy that by next week. But if this sounds like something that's up your alley, please go to extra-life.org and sign up today and start fundraising for your local Children's Miracle Network Hospital. Now,
are you saying I have to like kids?
Not necessarily. You can make the appearance of liking kids.
There you go.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know that a lot of people out there want to know, how do I become a friend of the show or help support Alter Confusion? Ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, demons, interdimensional beings, gods, aliens, mummies, werewolves, vampires, and many more, to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This membership gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. Currently, we have 2 levels that you can pledge at. There's a $1 a month or $12 a year level, and what that will get you is early access to all of our playthroughs, as well as the ability to participate in Patreon patron-only posts. That could be anywhere from a poll to just some information that is secret only to you. If you're feeling a little bit frisky, then there is the $5 tier. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. Not only get everything at the $1 tier, but you also gain your name or organization in every single Thursday night hangout section. So if you want to become a patron for Altered Confusion, all you got to do is go to patreon.com. Patreon is spelled patreon.com/altered confusion.
Patreon.
And Zelia does want to point out that's less than a cup of fancy coffee. $5 a month, $60 a year. It's not.
But it is more than a good
bad.
hot chocolate.
It is a pretty good deal, if I say so myself. Now, as I promised, there is going to be a slightly higher tier that is coming probably by the end of the month, and that will have some actual physical goodies for anyone who wants to pump it up to that level.
Like a cartoon?
Zelius is still trying to get that web comic, but we'll see.
It's my lifelong dream.
I know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into the last couple of topics here. The next one, and this is just kind of, to be honest with you, this is kind of creepy to me, and that is that there is a Gran Turismo movie coming out, or in development, or filming, whatever, and Orlando Bloom is one of the main actors on this film, and he basically said that this movie will give you, and I want to make sure I get the quote right, because it is a little bit weird. He promises body vibrating sound. And to me, that makes my brain go so many different directions. I don't think I like that.
A little bit too phallic for your taste?
To be honest with you, I just hear, like, I don't know, body jiggling. That's what I hear, is body jiggling. Like, you know, my biceps and triceps accidentally hitting, you know, the side of my chest, or my knees clicking together, my feet clicking together. It's I don't know. It's you know, that, like, basically vibrating noises of your body, like, you know, if you're on a roller coaster.
So it's like a free body vibrator, is what you're saying?
But what is it?
Just
ASMR?
Yes. No, I mean, if it's a racing movie and it's like you're in this like race vehicle that's got a lot of room to it, you'll feel like you're in that vehicle shifting 20 times like Dominic Toretto. And every time you do it, you're going to feel the and your body will like shake with the car.
I also want to point out that okay, Gran Turismo. I had the first Gran Turismo for the original PlayStation, and I'll fully admit that I turned it in because I couldn't pass one of the early tests. I was like, F this. But it is basically a racing car game. That's literally it. You race cars, you gain money from the races that you compete in, and then it allows you to unlock new cars, and you can soup them up, whatever.
So it's Fast and the Furious?
Not that crazy, because they're not, you know, leaning out of the side of a car holding onto a torpedo across a frozen lake.
Well, what kind of racing game is that?
Well, it's literally, you know, just racetracks. However, they want to point out that this movie is more than just cars. There's also action, drama, and romance. And can we say, is there any more Hollywoodized way of movie making than promising action, drama, and romance?
You know what it actually makes me think of?
What's that?
Days of Thunder.
Yeah. Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know what Days of Thunder is, it's a classic Tom Cruise movie.
Isn't that where he met Nicole Kidman?
I don't know, to be honest. I haven't seen Days of Thunder in 20 years, probably.
I think that's where they met.
But it's a classic racing movie. It was good. That's what I imagined this basically being like. It's the young up and coming kid gonna learn how to race really well.
Speed Racer.
And he's gonna make your body jiggle at the same time.
No, you're gonna hear his body jiggle.
Oh wow, this just got a little more awkward.
I know.
I'm sorry. The problem is I'm only gonna be able to see Legolas during the movie. Like, oh, there's an elf in the car now.
No, when I think Orlando Bloom, my first reaction has to be Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, he's an elf to me.
Fine. Yeah. He's an elfin driver for you, and for me, he's a pirate.
Fair enough.
Not a race car driver. All right, so here's the final topic, and this is actually a question I was asked. There is a new show on Netflix called Kaleidoscope. And I want to say it's either got 6 or 8 episodes. And the thing that makes this show unique to many other shows is that you don't have to watch the episodes in order. You can watch them in whatever order you want to. And the reason
I think specifically it randomizes it for each user.
Yeah. The reason is that each of these episodes is basically the story of an individual who is part of the overall story. So you're basically seeing it from their perspective and stuff. So the question that was asked of me was, what do you think about this strategy?
I have zero desire to see it, honestly. Like, based off of that, it's very hard to do that, like, fragmented time storytelling well. You think a movie like Memento, for instance, but it was like made that way. Like, everyone saw the same sequence, at least. Like, the storyteller could tell that story correctly. And I've already read up a bit in Kaleidoscope because I was like, WTF is this? And from everything I've read is like, yes, you're right. It's made so that you can basically watch it in any order, but there's definitely some orders are better and much less confusing and give a better story overall than others. Because there is still a bit, even though it's from each character's perspective, there is still a bit of a chronological order to it.
Right.
As far as we could watch it, because you still like any heist, you got to learn, like, why did they meet up? How did they get there? And, inevitably what went wrong in the heist? That's what Money Heist did so well, which, if you haven't seen it, it's another Netflix heist. It's a Spanish production, really good. Where they do some of that, it's like, they're getting the heist and you learn what happened and why they come together and all that stuff. But like, it's part of the overall story, so it works. So I'm very skeptical of Kaleidoscope, and it's just not really, honestly, on my list right now to see. Yeah.
I think I think it's an interesting concept, but at the same time, this kind of reminds me. Here's the thing. I'm okay with like each episode kind of having its own, character focus. It kind of reminds me of the Quantic Dream games, Heavy Rain, Between Two Souls. Why the hell can I never remember the last one? Detroit? No.
Detroit Becomes Human.
Yeah, Becomes Human. But in each one of those, it kind of like layers on top where you have different perspectives. And yes, sometimes those characters don't meet until much later, but it builds upon itself where, there is this chronological order to it.
I think stuff like that works better in a video game where you're more immersed in that, like you are that storyline.
Right.
So I think for me, that type of, because that's the first thing that actually came to my mind was something like the Aquatic Dreams games, where I know it's not as much as the timeline as it is the storylines,
right?
But they still kind of do it. I think for a video game, it works pretty well. Because like you get that different buy-in when you are that character and kind of controlling them. And you're much more invested in those characters and just what's happening. But from a show perspective, I'm just a little bit skeptical, and I'm like,
Well, I mean, like this, there's a great movie called Clue, starring Tim Curry, and when it was actually in theaters, there were 3 endings, and it was basically random. Each theater would have a different ending.
huh?
Or just would have one of the 3. Now, of course, if you watch it on DVD or Blu-ray or digitally, they go this basically you see one ending and it's like this is how it could have happened, and they would show another one, and then finally they're like, and this is probably what really happened, and then they would show
Yeah.
the third one. So I mean, that's fun, it's different, but at the same time, I once again, cool concept, but I think when it comes to Kaleidoscope, just for me personally, is I like stories that kind of build on each other, and yes, with like Quantic Dream games, you're actually making the decisions, which I think then makes you all the more invested in the storyline. Whereas in Kaleidoscope, you're a passive viewer. You don't get to, the only choice you get is what episode am I going to watch next. And I think that
sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, I think that the problem is that there's got to be some maybe small instances where if you watch it in a slightly different order, there's going to be a reference to something you don't understand, and there's a chance that small little difference or that small reference you will forget about. It'll totally be out of your mind because it ends up being that random last episode that you watch.
I think the other part that doesn't help is from the Netflix description.
Mm-hmm.
At least when I was reading it, I didn't know that they're randomized.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be a little bit like the first time you watch The Witcher, you don't realize that they're jumping back and forth in time.
Yeah.
Once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, now I have to figure out where in the timeline, and then it at least started to make sense. Which I don't think was intentional in that case, honestly. I just think that was an oversight.
Yep.
So in this case, in Kaleidoscope, it would make, to me, much more logical sense if Netflix was just straightforward. Almost like, hey, we're randomizing for every user. If you don't want to randomize it, here's the recommended method of watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I think to most people, be like, okay, that makes sense at least.
Right.
But I think putting it out there randomized without letting the audience know is, I don't think that's what the audience wants. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Is audience, like, I think we know, like, audiences love like the spy heist, like those type of shows people love. Like, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
But you want to know what you're getting yourself into, right? Like when you watch, like you just had the Jack Ryan season 2 or season 3 on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
And it's a whodunit, you don't know what's going on, but you know what you're getting into. You know you're getting into Tom Clancy thing. You got Money Heist, which is really popular. You know you get, like, you know, at least in your mind kind of what you know how to set your expectations. But I feel like something like Kaleidoscope is just going to frustrate users because they don't know what they're really getting into. And it's just going to be like, what the hell am I watching? More than this is an interesting concept.
Yeah, here's an interesting idea that just came to me. I think that it would be interesting, or I think it might, in my opinion, be better if you had everyone starts on the same episode and ends on the same episode, and then there's randomized middle episodes that kind of go further detail of each individual and how they got there.
That would make more sense because you could do like the intro stuff.
Yep.
You know, how it went bad was probably the very end, but everything in between, that I could see the logic of that. I just have a hard time with the total randomization. So I saw that. I'm like,
Because what you could do is the first episode could be, everyone's together, and then by the end of the episode, it's like things go bad, and they're like, they phrase the question, how did we get to this point? And then
Yeah.
you get like the origin story of each character and how they ended up being part of the team by the end of the episode. And then the last episode basically starts at how did we end up here, and then goes forward from there to give you that resolution.
I could see that.
There's my idea. Now pay me millions of dollars, please, because I could use it.
Maybe you too could write Netflix's Witcher season 3 and 4.
From my understanding, Liam Hemsworth apparently looks really good. Still not a huge fan of the fact that he's going to be Geralt, but apparently he's looking pretty Witcher-esque. Speaking of which, I don't know. I think the sale is over, but Steam got me bad right at the new year.
Oh, no.
And with heavy discounts, I got The Witcher 3 for like $10
Nice.
because they had like a lot of games for 70 and 80% off. I'm like, oh, well, looks like Charlie's making some purchases.
I purchased, the only one I got on a discount was Code Vein. That's the only one I went on. I played Northgard a lot. I've just actually beat it before the show.
Nice.
It's a mashup between a city builder and like a traditional RTS like World of Warcraft. I think it's well done. I rather enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it.
Oh, crap. I bought 6 games.
What's that?
I said I bought 6 games.
Nice. Well, I did re-up my Sony. So I'm not playing Final Fantasy 14 anymore. I've kind of given that up basically to 7.0 comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I re-up my PS Plus subscription. So that will be taking up my games. Like for instance, I just downloaded God of War because that is on the PS Plus.
Right.
So that's what I will be playing are my PS Plus games now.
Gotcha. Yeah, for those interested, I got The Witcher 3.
Well, there goes your next month of gaming.
After Party, Conway Disappearance at Dahlia View, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, Orcs Must Die 3, and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh, shit. Are you going to just have your kids play that?
My son Brody and I are currently we solved our first case and now we're moving on to the second one.
Do they still have the great song "Where in the World Is"?
That was the TV show. No, they don't. Unfortunately,
although I did actually get on the Switch is because I heard so many great things about it was Cult of Lamb.
Yes.
I only played it last night for like a half hour, but so far it's fun.
Sweet. Yeah, I've been so tempted to get that game, but I can't decide if I want it on the Switch or the PC. So
that was my problem. I was like, you know what? I'm getting in the Switch because it can be like I'm going to bed game.
Yeah.
Is why I kind of decided. I'm like, okay.
I can see that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we thankfully have covered all the topics this evening, and we're basically out of time. I do want to remind everyone that there will not be a show next week. I will be in the city of Chattanooga in the state of Tennessee for Chattacon, which, of course, if you want information about Chattacon, all you got to do is go to Chattacon, that's CHATTACON.org, and you can find out all the information. Like I said, I think that my panel, Video Games Changing for the Good, ? Is going to be on Sunday. I don't remember what the time is. I will be moderating, and apparently there will be an autograph session, a 30-minute time slot autograph session. So if you want to come by, pick up an exclusive brain doodle, just swing by and find me.
Nice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zelius, it's been a pleasure giving our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back in 2 weeks for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother. Damn straight, Nakamoto. Keep on gaming in that free world. See you, Nakamoto. Oh my gosh, my head itches. Dang it, I felt like there was something else I wanted to tell Zelius and the crowd, but I can't remember what it is now.
It is gone. Goodbye.
Yes.
Your brain has stopped working.
It is gone. Au revoir. That's French for bye-bye. I don't know. Anyways. All right. I'm going to shut down the stream. Zelius, I need to talk to you for a second. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for tuning in. And we'll see you soon. I will try to start my streaming back this Sunday because I know I was not streaming on Tuesday, but I'll start the streaming again on Sunday, and then of course I'll stream on next Tuesday, and I'll be off Thursday and Sunday. But I'll try to get that streaming in. I don't know what game I'll be playing, but I'll be playing something.